A few things have changed. I've put a mark where the center of the hole is, because that hole is actually bigger than the holes that I've drilled in the feeder section, and so I won't be able to see whether or not it's precisely over the hole or not. And what I ought to do really is mark the center of each one of these holes and then line up the mark rather than lining up the circle, because it's very difficult to judge. But I'm going to give it a go. We'll see how we get on. I've got the MSP 430 plugged in, and I'm running the stepper motor measuring tool on the laptop, which you can see over here. So it says press the MSP 430 button to turn the motor. Holding it down also turns it. The number of steps will be shown after each step. So if I hold this down, you can see it's showing me how many steps it's taking, and at the same time it's taken that many steps. Now we're nearly in line with I think I might have gone just a little bit too much there, a little bit too far. So that's the first hole in line, but what I don't want to do is, I don't particularly want to start on 172 steps. What I'd like to do is have a reference point and say, I'm going to be starting, excuse me while I zoom out again, I'm going to be starting on that position there. So what I'll do is, on the MSP 430, oops, seems to have lost, I'll hit the reset button, which restarts the program on the MSP 430, and I lost my COM connection for some reason. What it should have done is it should have shown this thing restarting, but it hasn't. So I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in. Was that the wrong one? Yeah, the wrong one. Plug back in. Both of them are plugged back in. Open the serial monitor on port. Oh, it's changed the COM port now. But here's the serial monitor, and if I press the reset button again on the launch pad, I'm still not seeing what I expect to see. It's quite disappointing. So I've unplugged it again. Plug it in again. Now it's plugged back in. It's powered up, but I'm not seeing anything on COM3. Which must mean that I'm using the wrong COM port. So I go to Tools, Serial Port, go with COM4, Tools, Serial Monitor. Okay, so we've got an equal sign, which is a good indication that there is connection. I'm going to hit the reset button again. There we go, it's reset, and it's written out what it wrote out the first time. Now, if I hold the button down, I'll get the number of steps, but also, more importantly, what I'm going to be able to do is see when this is perfectly lined up with the next hole. So if I press the button now, watch it go until it's lined up. I'd say that's about lined up. It looks it from my perspective, and interestingly enough, just looking at it now, we got a step count there of 100. So 100 steps, which is easy to remember. And what I'm going to do, like I said, is move to the next hole, and then the next and the next, and see what I get for each one. So that's the center of that hole. Focus camera. There we go. That's about the center of that one, which is 206. So I'm going to write these down and keep a note of them. The first one was 100. The next one was 206. That's 312. 312. on to the next one. Maybe a little over, but that was 411. About right. Move on to the next one. Is 510. 510. The next hole. I have 613. Moving on to the next hole. I have 718. 718. The next hole. $822. $922. So these are roughly 100 steps, I'd say, per feeding, roughly. $1,027. But even if these weren't precise, I could put these numbers into an array, and I could set it to step that many times for that particular day as I work through the array. There we are, 1124, 1124. Be interesting to see where 1127 is. That's 1127, so it's not that far off. Next hole to line up with the mark is 1228. 1228. And we have 1334. 1334. Writing these down as we go. Now I've got 1434. Wow. Exactly 100 steps. I'm getting good at this. That's about there. 1534. My word. 1534. So it's rather precise. And 1639. I think I might have gone slightly over the mark there. Let's go to the next one. That's about there. 1742. 1742. Alright, two more to go. So I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear. This is rather boring. But it is one of those things that needs to be done. We've got 1846 now. 1846, and I'm going over 1846. Last one. Wow, 1946. Exactly 100 from the previous one. So now I have them all marked out or measured out. I'm going to average the distance between each hole on the number of steps, and then we'll switch to the other program which has a set number of steps which feeds at a regular interval.